Do you know what most people over 70 say when they reflect on their health, not in a survey, not on social media, but in real conversations behind closed doors? It's rarely, "I wish I had more money." It's not, "I wish I'd traveled to more countries." It's this: "I wish I'd taken better care of myself, so I could truly enjoy the time I have left." Hello, my friend. Welcome to Elderly Reflections, a space where every story is real, every word is meant to uplift, and every lesson comes not from textbooks but from the lives of those who've lived through the decades. If you're here, that tells me something special about you. You care. About your health. About your time. About the life still ahead, no matter how many years are behind. So before we begin, I'd love it if you could do me a small favor. If this message resonates with you, like this video, subscribe for more stories like this, and drop a comment below telling me, where are you watching from today? I'm always humbled to see how far these reflections travel. Sometimes, it's a grandmother in Texas. Other times, a retired couple in Manila. Each one of you is part of this quiet revolution, of seniors who want more from life, and are willing to do a little more for it. Now, let me ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever had a quiet moment, maybe while sitting in a waiting room or staring out the kitchen window, where you thought to yourself, if I had just walked more, eaten better, listened to my doctor sooner, maybe I wouldn't be going through this now? If you have, you're not alone. I've spoken to hundreds of seniors, through interviews, hospice visits, community centers, and long email exchanges. And beneath the jokes and wisdom, behind the "I'm fine" smiles, I hear the same three regrets. They're not shouted. They're not dramatic. They're whispered, between sips of tea, under hospital blankets, beside the ticking clock of another quiet evening. And today, I want to share those three regrets with you. Not to scare you, but so you don't have to carry them too. Regret number 1. I let my body become too still. Let me tell you about George. I met him in a rehabilitation center just outside Portland. He was 72. A retired train engineer. The kind of man who knew how to fix anything, but didn't know how to ask for help when he was the one falling apart. He had a warm smile, a sharp wit, and a hip held together by screws. "You know my biggest mistake," George said, as he looked out the window at the gray Oregon sky. "I stopped moving. Thought I was just resting. But really, I was giving up." That hit me like a quiet thunder. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't sick. He just stopped. One day it was skipping his morning walk. The next, it was choosing the elevator over the stairs. Then he started spending entire afternoons on the couch, watching reruns and saying, "I'll get to it tomorrow." But tomorrow didn't come. Then, one quiet Thursday, he got up to make a sandwich, and never made it to the fridge. He fell. Broke his hip. And that one moment cost him 6 months of his life in painful recovery. You see, our muscles are not stubborn. But they are honest. If you stop using them, you start losing them. And once your strength begins to fade, it's not just your muscles you lose, it's your balance, your confidence, your freedom. And I know what you might be thinking. I'm not trying to run a marathon. I don't need six-pack abs. But here's the truth. You don't need a gym. You don't even need fancy shoes. You need a reason and a rhythm. Start with 10 minutes. Walk the hallway. Stretch your arms while waiting for the kettle to boil. Do 3 sit-to-stands from your chair before each meal. March in place while brushing your teeth. The science backs this up. According to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy, just 20 minutes of light daily movement can reduce fall risk by 40% in adults over 70. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between independence and dependence. Your body isn't asking you to be young again. It's just asking you not to give up on it. Because here's the most beautiful part. You're still here. Which means, it's not too late. There's something powerful about reaching this age, isn't there? You've lived through more than most people could ever imagine. But even now, every day brings another decision. Another chance. And maybe that's why this next part matters even more. Because once you know the biggest missteps, staying too still, ignoring the small signs, and trusting the wrong foods, what comes next is learning how to reclaim your strength. Not with big, dramatic changes, but with quiet, steady actions that say, I still matter. My health still matters. Let me tell you about Lorraine. She's 81, from Minnesota. Fiercely independent, still drives herself to the store, still takes care of her garden, even in winter. But 3 years ago, she made a mistake she never thought she'd make. She stopped taking her medications. Why? They made me feel old, she said. I didn't want to be the woman with the pill box and reminders on the fridge. I just wanted to feel normal. And for a while, nothing happened. Then her blood pressure crept up. Her ankles started to swell. She had dizzy spells. When she finally ended up in the ER, the doctor looked at her with sad eyes and said, This could have been prevented. That leads us to a mistake too many seniors make, one we rarely talk about because it feels too personal. Fourth, stopping or skipping medication without a doctor's guidance. Now listen, I'm not saying every pill is good. We've all heard stories about being overprescribed, or about medications that do more harm than help. But there's a reason your doctor gave it to you. And if you ever feel unsure, the answer is not to stop on your own. The answer is to ask. Because the body at 70 is not the body at 40. Suddenly stopping a blood pressure pill, or skipping your diabetes medication for a few days, or having your dose of a blood thinner, these aren't small choices. They can be life-threatening. Lorraine told me she was afraid of becoming dependent. But here's the truth. Taking what keeps you stable isn't weakness. It's wisdom. And deciding what you don't need? That's your doctor's job, not yours to guess. If something feels off, speak up. Don't stop in silence. Don't let pride become poison. And now we move to a mistake that happens slowly. Quietly. It sneaks into your evenings. Your weekends. Your thoughts. Fifth, withdrawing from social connection without realizing it. You see, we've talked a lot on this channel about how you don't need a big circle of friends to be happy after 70, and that's still true. But what you do need is connection. Some kind of meaningful exchange with the world outside yourself. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is peaceful. Isolation is painful. And too many seniors, especially after retirement or the loss of a partner, slide into isolation without noticing. It starts with staying home more. Skipping family dinners. Not picking up the phone. Suddenly, days blend into each other. You go to sleep without having spoken to anyone. And that's when things begin to fade: motivation, memory, even physical health. Did you know that loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, and dementia? Studies show it can be just as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Imagine that. Take Mr. Hayes. Vietnam veteran. Widower. Lives alone in a small town in upstate New York. For months, he barely left the house. Said it was just easier that way. But when the local senior center started a walking group, he reluctantly joined. Not for the walking, but for the company. Within weeks, everything changed. He smiled more. Slept better. Even his arthritis eased up. I didn't know how much I missed being missed, he said. So if you find yourself slowly pulling away from people, if it's been a few weeks since you last laughed with someone or had a proper conversation, reach out. Even a short phone call. A shared cup of tea. A chat with the neighbor walking their dog. Connection doesn't have to be constant. But it must be real. And now, the hardest misstep of all. The one that lives in the back of your mind. The one no doctor warns you about. Sixth, believing it's too late to change. This, my friend, is the biggest regret most seniors never say out loud. I'm too old for this. What's the point now? Maybe it's just downhill from here. These words are heavy. They carry years of disappointment. And they're not always spoken, but you can feel them in someone's silence. In the way they let go of routines. Stop trying new things. Settle into a life that feels smaller than they deserve. But let me tell you what I've seen. A 90-year-old woman in Canada who started watercolor painting and had her first gallery show at 92. A 78-year-old man who reversed his pre-diabetes by walking every day and changing his diet. A 67-year-old widow who learned how to swim for the first time and said, "I finally feel free." It is never too late to change something, anything, that no longer serves you. Your body may be slower, yes. Your bones may ache. Your energy may dip. But your spirit? That still burns. You're not here just to survive these years. You're here to live them. To smile with pride. To walk with strength. To eat what heals. To forgive yourself for what you didn't know, and choose better now. That's what elderly inspiration really means. Not being perfect. Just being willing. So let me ask you again. Is there something in your health you've given up on? Something you've told yourself is too far gone? Because if so, I want you to challenge that today. Choose one thing. A walk after dinner. A call to your doctor. A new fruit in your breakfast bowl. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to begin. If you're still with me, leave a comment below with where you're watching from. I read every message. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This space is here for you, for senior health, for elderly reflections, for wisdom that only life can teach. You're not done yet. In fact, you might just be getting started. By now, maybe you're starting to feel something stirring inside, like a quiet voice that says, "I've got more to give." And you do. Because while we've talked about the biggest regrets seniors carry about their health, the real question is, what will you do with that knowledge now? Let me share something with you, something personal. There's a man I met once, named Elias. 83 years old, born in a small village in Portugal, moved to Boston when he was just 20. Spent his life working as a stonemason. Hands like leather, voice like gravel. And yet, when he spoke about his past, there was this softness to him. This quiet pain. He looked me in the eye and said, "I didn't think it mattered. Skipping breakfast. Drinking every night. Never stretching my legs. You don't feel the cost when you're young. But now, I feel it every morning." But then he smiled. "The thing is," he said, "I still get up. I still move. Because even now, it's not too late." That's the kind of wisdom only age can teach. That's the kind of elderly motivation I wish every man and woman over 65 could hear. So let's finish this journey strong, with the last piece of the puzzle. What do you do once you know better? You start rebuilding, with kindness. First, you rebuild your health with gentle consistency, not guilt. This part is important. Too many people over 70 think change means doing something drastic, cutting all sugar, walking 5 miles a day, overhauling their routine overnight. But real, sustainable change doesn't happen like that, not at this age. It happens with gentle, loving consistency. Like switching from white bread to whole grain. Like doing 5 minutes of stretching before bed. Like eating a boiled egg instead of a sugary pastry. Like taking a short walk before lunch, even if it's just around the house. The body is always listening. Even to the smallest choices. Did you know that seniors who walk just 20 minutes a day reduce their risk of dementia by over 30%? That just a handful of almonds can lower inflammation and stabilize blood sugar? That stretching your spine gently before bed can ease nighttime pain and improve your sleep? This isn't about punishment. It's about nourishment. And the moment you begin treating your body with care, not control, you start to feel better. Slowly. Surely. Steadily. Second, you forgive yourself for what you didn't know. One of the heaviest weights I see seniors carry is regret, not just about health, but about choices they made when they were too busy, too stressed, too unaware. Maybe you smoked for too long. Maybe you skipped checkups. Maybe you didn't eat right, didn't move enough, didn't rest when your body begged you to. That's okay. You're human. You did the best you could with what you had. And now, you have more. More knowledge. More experience. More wisdom. Don't let regret freeze you. Use it to fuel you. Every day you choose better, you honor the version of yourself that didn't know how. You say, I've learned. I've lived. And I'm still becoming. Third, you redefine strength for this chapter of life. Strength, after 65, looks different. It's not about lifting heavy things. It's about staying lifted when life gets heavy. It's standing up from the couch without holding onto the armrest. It's carrying your groceries without losing your breath. It's remembering your neighbor's name and your granddaughter's birthday. It's waking up in the morning with something to look forward to. You are not weak for needing support. You are not broken because you take medication. You are not less because your body is slower. You are stronger than you think because you're still here. Still fighting. Still choosing. Still growing. And that strength? It deserves to be celebrated. Fourth, you find new joy in the little wins. I want you to think about something simple. That first sip of warm tea on a cold morning. The sound of birds outside your window. The feeling of sunshine on your face after a walk. The taste of fresh fruit on your tongue. These are not small things. These are life. The more you pay attention to these moments, the more joy you'll find. And the more joy you find, the less power regret holds over you. Because health isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about feeling alive in the body you're in, now. So celebrate the small wins. One good night's sleep. One blood sugar reading in the green. One day without joint pain. One deep belly laugh. Let these be your victories. Fifth, you become an example for someone else. Whether you realize it or not, someone is watching you. A neighbor. A younger sibling. A friend. A grandchild. They see how you age, and they learn from you. When you choose to take care of yourself, when you decide that 70, 75, even 85 is not the end of your growth, you're not just helping yourself. You're showing the next generation what aging well really looks like. That's elderly wisdom. That's life lessons from the elderly they can't get from books or internet advice. You become a mirror. A light. A guide. So be proud of that. Because every time you choose health, every time you reject regret, every time you show up for yourself, you become the elder you once needed. And that is powerful. Now, before we end, I want to ask you something from the heart. What is one health choice you're ready to stop regretting and start improving? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video gave you even one moment of clarity, one moment of peace, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because this space is built for you. For senior health. For inspiration. For elderly reflections that carry weight. For voices that still matter. For stories that still unfold. For a community that says, you're not forgotten. You're still becoming. Here's to your health. Your strength. Your second chance. Here's to living your best life, at any age.